لك يا حبيب الله أهدي تحياتي بلغ الحنين مداه فمتى اللقاياتي أهدي تحياتي من نور أحمد نهتدي وبهدي طه نقتدي من نور أحمد نهتدي.
الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على سيد الرسل وخاتم الأنبياء وعلى آله الأصفياء وأصحابه الأتقياء ما بعد. فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإن هذا صراطي مستقيما فاتبعوه ولا تتبعوا السبل فتفرق بكم عن سبيله. صدق الله العظيم. My dear respected brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed us within the realms of Sharia. And Sharia itself guides our life, guides our practice, guides how we think, how we associate with ourselves, how we have social impacts and social connections, how we view our trade and how we engage with the world around us. Sharia is a guide, and with that guide, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has shown us what might be wrong, what might be trending but destructive, what might be happening around us, but we have to shun away from it. That happens to us quite a lot because we live in a real world. We are here living very Western lives, but we know Islam is the solution for everything. But sometimes they conflict each other, and sometimes we don't even understand the simulation that takes place, the contradictions that takes place, and sometimes we ourselves lose our identity and our framework as Muslims, not even understanding it. Sometimes dressing as best as you can as a believer, looking as pious as possible, showing all the outward qualities of a believer, speaking the language, using the words, but yet conflicting your religion and not even realizing it. And that's why a believer is supposed to be very mindful. It's supposed to be someone who has intellect, ulil albab, the people of knowledge and people of understanding, people who use their mental capacities to differentiate between matters. They can see the difference between red and green, and they can see the black and white, and they can tell the difference and how that is a gray area, as sometimes the Prophet ﷺ would describe certain matters, the mutashabihat, and those things that are gray areas, even gray, leave it out. Go to what is white and leave out what is black. You know, the idea of differentiation itself is important. My topic though today is interestingly one that takes away all that is needed and all that Sharia works on. It's something that, you know, if you encompass, if you take something and you cover entirely all of the work of Sharia. So Imam Ghazali rahimahullah, many of the scholars, they mention that the objective of Sharia, the purpose of your Islam, the purpose of your deen, the purpose of your guidance, the purpose of your sunnah, the purpose of you being here, sitting here, listening to me, is to protect and preserve 5 things. One is to preserve your religion, because the religion will be the guide. So first you have to make sure that there's a guide, there's something to look at, something to follow, something to understand. So your religion is giving you all of that. It will differentiate what is right and wrong and everything else. It also protects, the second thing is your life. That is why murder is haram. That's why causing destruction to your life is haram. That's why even playing games that might cause harm to your life is haram. Anything that conflicts your life, you're living, because your living is needed to worship Allah. You can't do that when you're passed away or you're dead. You can't do that. You have to be living. Third thing is, what is very important, is your intellect. You have to protect your intellect. You have to not consume things and knowledge and information that might warp your thinking, that might confuse your direction of right and wrong. You have to protect what is right to be right. This is why from the du'as of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we should learn this du'a, Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqa Oh Allah, show me and teach me right as right. Don't make me misunderstand what is right. Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqa warzuqna ittiba'a, and give me the ability to follow it, to be able to do what is right when I've understood it, because that ability to is another need. And this is one of the beautiful du'as of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the first thing was religion, to protect it. Second thing was life. Third thing is intellect. You have to protect your intellect. The fourth thing is protect your lineage, protect your nasl, protect your children, protect your generation, protect it so that it continues. This is part of the deen and the efforts of the deen. And the last thing is protect your wealth. Protecting your wealth, Sharia actually makes an impact for that. But shaitan is very smart. And it starts with brain rot. That's my topic. Brain rot. And when I talk about brain rot, you could watch the kids' face. They know what's brain rot. Put up your hands, what's brain rot? Now, interestingly, brain rot itself didn't start as rotten in your brains. Brain rot itself started as a genre, a whole subject matter, what we used to do and we still do, many of the adults. Brain rot is basically doing things that are mindless, senseless, has no benefit to it, wasting time, you're fed up, you're bored, you have nothing to do. Here what? Let me just waste some time. So it started off like that. So brain rot is actually a whole genre of, you find it in shorts, you find it in games, you find it in movies, you find it in things that just don't make sense. There's no benefit for it. There's no benefit whatsoever you get out of it. You're just wasting time. And the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the principles of life as a Muslim and as a believer, you want to know how to deal with these matters of brain rot, then from the goodness of the iman of a believer, from the goodness of the iman of a believer, tarakahu ma la ya'nihi min husn al-Islam al-mar'i. From the goodness of your being a Muslim and a believer, tarakahu ma la ya'ni is his leaving off anything that is nonsensical, anything that is just wasting time, anything that is just a fad or something that is just shooting up, anything that is just brain rot, anything that's just wasting time, anything that has no purpose to it. This is from your goodness, if you're a believer that you are, that you'll just leave that out altogether and you'll stay away from it. So that was the first rule. This was the first level of brain rot that started to become normalized in society. And when I say normalized in society, my dear respected brothers and sisters, pick up your phones. In fact, you don't have to pick up your phones. Your phones are always up in your hand. But look at the kids. What they are strolling. In fact, what are we doing with TikTok, with shorts, with reels? Just immense amount of information, just overloading. And what's happening with that overload is that your mind now cannot grasp anything. It is not even becoming something that has any type of benefit. There's sensory overload. There's no kind of movement with your brain taking place anymore. And that's what brain rot does. That's what brain rot is. It's taking away that ability to think anymore. Now, when that happens to kids, to children, to our youths, it is much more damaging. And it's damaging to us. Look at the effect. You do that for half an hour, you see what happens to you. You can't think anymore. You can't be creative. You can't think about your things to do during the day. Nothing happens. But when you do it to kids, especially even younger than that, children are being abused with the screens. Abused straight out. And that's why some countries are banning it altogether at a certain age. Completely banned. No screens. You're not allowed. And we need to do that here. We need to lobby for that. Ban it altogether. We don't want to destroy our future. We have to do that. Destroy all the devices in your home. I remember once someone was talking about the khutbah, the importance of of getting rid of evil. And one of the biggest things that give the evil, the ones that allow the process of evil to take place, was the televisions in your house. And the televisions at that time, I remember one brother in particular, he took his TV and he said, you know what, I don't want that for my children anymore. And he came and he dropped it in the masjid, and now we use it for good things. The benefit of taking away your phones now, understand that now. Take it and get rid of it. Your children should not hold a device or own a device completely. There are benefits, obviously, when you are monitoring it. You can go and you can let them check. You leave them for 5 minutes alone, what happens to them? Is that something that is not seen? Is that something that is not understood? It is happening, but you're destroying their abilities, destroying their minds. If a child that happens from 0 to 3, the experts, they mention that that child naturally becomes delayed in their recognition and their language skills right away. And many of the children now, when the first year standard 1, standard 2, and so on, was impacted by the whole coronavirus when everybody was inside and everybody came onto devices. Much more, it exploded. So now we see the impact in schools. And you see that children can't function. You understand why they can't. They're not understanding what you're saying. You can't speak. They're slow. They're slurring. All kind of things happening to them. These are the drugs that they're being fed. My dear respected brothers and sisters, let's go on to the second level of evil. That was just the start. And it's really bad. And tarakahuma la ya'ni, he leave it off. This is the principle that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has left us with. It went to another level of brain rot. And the kids are really good at this. You ask any one of them, you stop them and ask them these words. When you start talking about anything like this, straight away they flared up because they're happy to hear, some of the things that are going on, because it's completely mind-boggling as adults because we don't understand it. But you know what's the interesting thing about it? It was put there not to understand. It was put there to destroy your mind. So how can you understand something that is a virus to destroy your mind? It's not something to understand. So when you hear it and when you talk about the 6-7, you say, what does it mean? I don't understand. Where is the source? What does 6-7 mean? And when you talk about things like trippy-troppy, what does that mean? And when you talk about cappuccino assassino, or ballerina cappuccino, or tuntun sahar, sing that in the night. What does that mean? It has no meaning. That's the whole purpose of it. It's supposed to be brain rot. It's supposed to be destroy the mind. And you hear it from your kids. And I was hearing it for a while. I'm an educator, so I'm listening and I'm trying to figure out what's this. I'm trying to grasp it a bit to see how we can counteract it. How can we understand it? How can we, because this is the job of the ulama, this is the job of the leaders, this is the job of parents, is to try to protect your children from the evil. This is the whole maqsad, one of the maqsad of Sharia. Protect them, protect their minds, protect their intellect. So how do you understand it? It's not meant to be understood. It's meant to be nonsense. It's meant to be chaos. It's meant to be addictive. It's meant to be destroying developing minds. And parents, unfortunately, took no interest in it. Some did, alhamdulillah, may Allah bless you and continue to bless you. But all of us have to take interest in it. Do not give your child a device to calm them down. You are giving them a drug. You are causing them harm. You are abusing them. You're doing them disservice. You will be answerable on the day of judgment by doing that. Take it away from them. That is not the solution. It is not the way to get calm. And then you keep feeding them that drug. And the only thing that will shut them up and quiet them down is hand them back the device. Because you can't deal with it. Because you don't have enough patience to deal with it. Because you alone, you're flustered. And you can't, calm yourself down enough. Because the whole world is being destroyed and eaten up from inside. We're being destroyed as a cancer. I was just explaining to the kids just now that what happens is, shaitan is smart. You attack an enemy straightforward, he's going to defend himself straightforward, straight away. But if you can find a sly, cynical way to get inside, without them even knowing that there is an evil growing within, and going inside their blood and destroying their entire livelihood, entire life, a cancer that eats them up from inside, then this is the best way. But if you cut out the ability to reach them, then you've cut the evil that's growing inside of them. So now there's targeted brain rot. Brain rot itself is actually the name of a game now. Hey, let's start a game that actually gives the rotting of the brain actively. Let's not hide about it. So now let's morph some certain creatures and certain types of creatures and make it something that is attractive. So then they had the Italian brain rot. And they say things in Italian, and it's mixed with the other languages and things. And that's why I was saying trippy troppy and talking about different tun tun sahur. When you're talking about it and you're trying to understand what is that, it makes no sense. It's things like a cat and a shrimp morphed together. Basically, taking away realities from the world. Taking a crocodile and morphing it with an aeroplane. And that one is supposed to be talking about bombing in Palestine. And then it becomes evil because now you're actually actively getting the children to engage in evil. So then you do rituals in roadblocks. Then you go and steal things. You steal these characters. And then you take it into your base, into your area. And then part of it is you do rituals with different types of items. Like you put chairs together and you do a ritual. What ritual do we have except bowing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Do we do any rituals? Do we even attend any other service that has rituals in it? It's a shirk. But no, let them do some rituals as well. Let them steal in the game, because part of the game is to steal different characters. Some of the characters in the game, or these morphed things in the game, their whole song, because part of it is singing, which is haram, sing, curse Allah. Allah is a pig. Sing it. Subhanallah, blasphemy to the highest level. Let the kids be accustomed to these words. How can that be allowed? How can that be inside our homes and we're not even noticing it? How could the iman and the hararat of iman and the warmness of iman and the heat of iman strive when a person is cursing Allah in a song, day in, day out? How is that allowed? That it just slips into our house, destroys our children's minds and their abilities, and it just leave them. And what do you expect after? What kind of crop do you expect again? So targeted brain rot started, and this is happening actively. So sometimes it's games on Roblox. So if your child is playing Roblox, did you think that that was just innocent? You see, what happens is sometimes the older generation, we compare it to games that we used to play. Your little Nintendo 64 and your PlayStation. And you know, some games you might play and you say, oh, this is the new generation type, is with Minecraft. I think, oh, Minecraft is building things, so it's sounding good. And then your kids come and explain to you a little bit, you know what, Roblox, no, you're buying and selling. So grow your garden is, you know what, buying and selling something. So you say, okay, well, yeah, it's sounding good. Like you're having a beneficial type of knowledge that is being imparted to the child through a game. No. You know, Roblox itself is being sued over and over. And people who are whistleblowers to the evils of Roblox, they're banning them from the game. Not the evils, you know, because there's a lot of grooming taking place. There are a lot of adults. You see, Roblox itself, 50% of the users on Roblox is adults. And then they come to play with kids and children. And then they talk to them, and it's active, it's online. So you talk to them and you give them things and you lure them into things and you try to, you know, bring them into evil. And many accounts of people actually being groomed, getting, you know, relationships in the game. And then from there it goes on. When you're talking about even worse than that, look at the evil of the game itself. And I could go on and on and about different things. We need to educate ourselves. But even worse than that, what they did now is package that whole genre and this type of knowledge and brain rot and put that now as a YouTuber playing the game. So he plays the game now and he gives his whole commentary about the evil that's taking place. Now everybody's looking at that now. How the game is. It's more interesting now to watch someone else play the game and getting billions of dollars and millions of dollars and these strange character type items that has no sense whatsoever, that's meant to confuse your brain, and then when you come back on the reality of life, you don't know what's going on. That happened with anime as well. Anime with anime characters, anime cartoons, anime shows. It happened with them. Now people want to live like an anime character. Where's our deen? Where's our intellect? Where's our Islam? It's supposed to guide us. I mean, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from this. Then it went on to now, this whole, and the kids are being so engulfed in it. Now the slangs are changing. So it's now, things like bossing and he's up to me because he's my enemy. And skibbity bang and riz and phantom tax. And all the different words that they would use to be able to talk about these actions. Is it right? No, it's wrong. It's haram. It's destroying our children. And we need to get on board. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned, لَيْسَ الْمُؤْمِنُ بِالطَّعَانِ. The believer is not someone who curses others. Half of these things is filled with cursing, open, explicit cursing. Are we trying to figure out, too, as educators, how come so many kids are cursing? How come it's becoming so common trend? Why is it happening? Why is it easy for them on their tongues? Laysa bit-ta'an. He is not one who would lambast and curse others. Wala bil-la'an. And he would not make fun of others and embarrass them and curse them and do other things like that. Wala fahish. And he would not do actions that are considered inappropriate or rude. Wala badhi. And he would not be a person who is evil. The reality, my dear respected brothers and sisters, we need to get grasp of these issues. We need to understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded all of us, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, ku anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. That, O you who believe, protect yourselves and your family members from the hellfire. There are open enemies who are trying to destroy our families within. And we have to be more and more aware of it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from these evils. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect our children from these evils. I end with talking about the destruction that takes place. It destroys their brain. Short form content, it mashes up the thinking process. Kills attention spans. It destroys their behavior. Sarcasm becomes normal. Sarcasm is haram in Islam. But yet sarcasm is part of our culture. Even in Trinidad, we speak a lot with sarcasm. If you want to check, just do a little survey on yourself and your home. How much sarcastic remarks that you hear in a day, and you will be amazed. Just do a check on it. Be introspective. Disrespect becomes humor. Disobedience becomes personality. It destroys modesty, music, dancing. Now, what happens is, because all of these things happening all around us, now the whining, and the soca, and the tassa, and all these things is okay. Because alcohol is haram, but these things, you know what? We're doing it all the time in games, then what's the big deal of it? So what happens is your Islamic identity becomes shifted right away. It's happening right around us. All of us are being affected by it. It destroys your Islamic identity. The algorithm becomes their teacher. The phone becomes their murabbi and their trainer. The game becomes their companion. My dear respected brothers and sisters, Islam came as hifzul aql, to protect your mind. Because the intoxicated societies makes terrible decisions for us. We need to preserve it from prohibition of alcohol, drugs, obligation of learning properly is necessary, accountability is necessary at this time. Hifzul nasl, the protection of our lineage and our children is necessary. So society knows who belongs to whom. We need to preserve our Islam, our deen. It's preserved through marriage, protection from zina, protection from these types of brain rot. Protection of wealth will naturally come, because what happens when a person is able, when a person has his religion to guide him, when he has his life in order, when he has hifzul nasl, he has his generation, his people in order, then naturally your wealth will be in order. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the understanding and understand that Islam is in itself very important to understand, to learn, to be able to interact with. As Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Kullukum ra'in wa kullukum mas'ulan an ra'iyati." That every single one of you, you're a shepherd. Stop letting roadblocks and brain rot shepherd your children. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the understanding. remember that ma min shay'in athqalu fil mizani min husnil khulq, that there's nothing heavier and weightier on the day of judgment, and the scales on the day of judgment, than your good character. These brain rot, these fads, these technologies, these reels, these shorts, these games, they're here to destroy the character of our children, so that they themselves don't have any substance. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all, protect our children, protect our lineage, and continue to guide us on the straight path.
فمتى اللقاء يأتي أهدي تحية